All right, welcome everyone to this great session that we're going to have with EY. Title of this session is Pioneering Decision Intelligence. How can decision intelligence enable autonomous supply chains? So today we're joined by Alex Nashuti. Alex is a partner in supply chain operations practice in the US. He's based out of Dallas, and he's a sponsor and global leader of the Aera EY Alliance globally. So super excited to have you, Alex. Thanks for taking the time of your busy day to talk to our audience about Aera technology and the work that we're doing together all over the world. My name is Eduardo Tobias, and I lead partnerships and growth for Aera technology. And without further ado, why don't we go ahead and get started? Today, we're going to talk about a couple of things. So first and foremost, we're going to understand EY's vision for supply chain and the role that decision intelligence plays. And then secondly, we're going to talk about specific use cases in which EY has deployed decision intelligence. And also they're going to share some other capabilities they've built, including a center of excellence and different other assets and capabilities they're bringing to customers today. So Alex, thanks for joining me today. The first question that I'd like to ask you is, what's your vision for supply chain and what do you see the journey happening for clients? If you can share your perspective, that'd be great.
Of course. Thank you. That's a great question. And I got in a lot of discussions with a lot of different companies about autonomous supply chain and how these things will come to life, right? Because it's something that everybody's talking about. And we got a lot of questions about how we bring that to reality. And the way you need to look at it, you need to think about it in three different dimensions, right? The first one is the level of automation you have in your processes. If we go to more autonomous, we need to have a lot of automation. And with that comes the frequency that you look at your issues in your supply chain and the way you manage your supply chain. You can only have a more frequent analysis or continual analysis of your issues once you have a lot of automation. I mean, maybe you're looking at your future demand plans that you look once a month or once a week. Once you start automating more, it's like you're continuous looking at it. And that's also true for other supply chain aspects. So automation is a big one. Number two, we talk about collaboration, right? So it doesn't work for you to automate or to have more intelligence in a specific function, a specific process. Of course, you can do that. You have some benefit. But if you really want to get to autonomous, we need to expand. And that goes even to connecting with your suppliers and customers to drive value together, right? I think today this is possible with all the cloud solutions we have. And a lot of the skills we're going to talk about that we developed together here with Aera goes beyond the company and goes into the clients and customers to interact on that. So that's point number two. And finally, point number three is about data-driven decisions that we have here, or the level of intelligence that you have, because automation by itself, I mean, it can help you, but it doesn't bring all the value that you need. So you need also to make a good use of data to make good decisions. So that goes from a descriptive stage, as you can see here, where most of the companies have that, right? You have your dashboards, you have your KPIs, where you look at the data in the past and try to learn with it. But again, that's not enough. Then you need to move to the more predictive stage, where you start, you have your projected plans, you have your projected issues, and you have alerts and you start acting on them. That's a good initial step. And I see a lot of companies in that stage too, where you are able to do that. But then you have the prescriptive and autonomous stages. That's really where we get to more advanced, right? Where you even start having recommendations or suggestions based on data analysis and different scenarios about what would you do to solve for these issues. And we'll give some examples of some of the skills that do that. And lastly, the autonomous stage is where you don't even need to touch it, right? The technology is making the decisions for you. And we do have a case around safe stock that will also give as an example of that. So that's the way we should look at it. If you look at this three dimensions, how we need to look at to get to autonomous planning.
Makes sense, Alex. And yeah, every customer that we talk to they all see this is the North Star, right? They want more automation. They cannot cope with the changes in the market and the enormous amount of decisions that they have to make, and it seems like the North Star. Now, can you talk about why EY and yourself decided to bet on decision intelligence as a way to solve this problem or to help customers fulfill this mission? What is it unique about this particular technology that allows you to fill that gap?
Yes, of course. I think Aera or decision intelligence can help you a lot on the stages 3 and 4 here, right? So there's several solutions in the market that can give you the visibility, right? Dashboards, KPIs, that's pretty commodity if you think about it. Then you have a lot of tools that can make the predictive part of it. A majority of the supply chain planning tools can do that and trigger alerts that you can look at. But really, when it gets more to the prescriptive side of the things, where you get ready to use recommendations and the autonomous, where you can fully automate the recommendations or the decisions until execution, that's where Aera really have a differentiated position there. And we're going to see some example skills in that way. And another point that I would like to highlight before we move is, I got a lot of questions from clients saying, well, we're still at stage 1. We need to build stage 2, then stage 3, then stage 4. And we don't see that as true, right? I think we have a lot of companies that are still in stage 1 and 2, but we're starting with some specific use cases to be fully autonomous, right? So you don't need to have full visibility. You don't need to have all the predictive stage. You need to start now some use cases going into autonomous, because that's how you start, how you learn, and how you get there faster. So I just want to highlight that additional point.
No, that's interesting. And if I play it back, it's not about a one solution, if you will, for the entire company. Some decisions might be moving at different velocities. Some could be ready for automation on day one. Even though you might not have all the capability as ready for the whole company. So that's interesting, and definitely very dependent on the area of the business, on the type of decision, and ultimately having the right stakeholder alignment. Now, maybe let's go and deep dive a little bit deeper into the specific examples and use cases. Alex, can you share some of what are the hot use cases that you see out there for this in terms of applications of Aera technology and decision intelligence, and particularly things that you're hearing in the market and that you're actually deploying?
Yes, of course. There's another good question that we get asked a lot on the different clients. And the platform is very flexible, right? So we can build a lot of different use cases, and we do have some that are very specific to some clients and sectors. But we put together here some that are more, let's say, mature and out of the box, that we've seen different clients using it and the impact that come through it. So it's hard to pick, but we pick 6 as examples here of things that we saw that have been working pretty well, right? So the number 1 is the autonomous safe stock. That one is very interesting because it's one of the first that we fully automated the decision cycle, right? We implemented this in a big global consumer products company where we had the dynamic safe stock skill for a long time, over 2 years. And after that, we were able to use Aera Learns to fully automate. So based on the decisions that were made in the last 2 years, we created this engine that can analyze the level of confidence of the recommendations that are being made. And then when the confidence level is high, the solution just takes the decision by itself. So the planner doesn't even need to look at. So that's a pretty mature and with a high impact use case that we have. In this case, we have over 546 historical recommendations throughout all this period. We have over 350,000 decisions that were acted upon, and that was a huge results in inventory reduction, but also balancing, right? A lot of times, Aera recommends it to increase. So that's a very interesting use case, and we have implemented in a lot of different clients. Then another one that is a good one that is we call it out of the box because it's fairly simple to implement, is the auto stock rebalancing. So what that does, it look at the inventory in the different locations and it rebalances it based on excesses and shortages. So for you to have an idea, we also implemented this in a different 40 billion client, consumer products client. And in the first run, when we were still at the POC stage, when we run it the first time, it already identified over $40 million of opportunities to do redeployments. That was in the first run. So that was it's a pretty quick one and with a significant impact. So that's another suggestion. And then we have all the others, right? We have on the logistics side, the air freight optimization. A lot of clients have this issue of how can I optimize between air and sea, and when should I use both? So the skill keeps looking at it, and then it suggests whenever you need to change your freight. So that's one that gives us a lot of good results too. Both in this one, we had some container utilization benefits, as well as reduction in lost sales and reduction in shipment costs. So that's a pretty powerful one too. Then we have the classical demand sensing, the touchless demand sensing, which is also something that, again, in the client we're using it, we are running this model every day. So every day, Aera is recommending changes in the demand planning, in the demand forecasts, and then supply can react on that. So that's another pretty important one. And then you have touchless POs, where you actually respond to this demand sensing changes, and you change purchase orders, anticipate, postpone. That's another one that is pretty important. And the other one that helps everything, not only Aera skills, but other technologies that the companies have, like APSs, TMS, ERPs, so on and so forth, is the self-healing master data, right? So that one you can look at, give you an example. If you take lead times, we implemented a lot of these times that Aera keeps monitoring the lead times and looking what's happening and say, well, you have now a 3-day lead time and you're executing 5 days. So you should correct that. So that kind of recommendations is what we get. And then it's easy to accept it. And that helps a lot, all the other skills. So of course, just a quick run through all the skills, but those are some of the ones that we see with a big impact in different companies.
Got it. Yeah, and I think at this point, for the audience who have been listening to maybe other presentations, they've seen the power and the composability of the platform, but it's always helpful to see specifically what can be done. And of course, Alex, this is not an exhaustive list. You guys have done dozens of this, but at least good to know what are the themes. And yeah, there's definitely one theme around automated inventory management, if you will, with the auto rebalancing and adjustment of safety stock. Demand, definitely a theme that we see constantly around, especially short-term demand, but also the touchless PO and different skills. So very interesting to see this perspective from you, and at least it gives us an idea of what's happening in the market. Next part of the conversation, I want us to end with just an understanding of your capabilities. I mean, you as EY have been partnering with Aera for many years now, probably 4 or 5 years. Would love to understand, what are the capabilities you have built around Aera, and then what is it you can actually take to customers tomorrow if you wanted to?
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Yeah. And I mean, we've been working with decision intelligence for a long time, right? I think that's why I'm saying we're a pioneer. We have a project that we've been working through over 5 years with multiple skills, over 30 skills in different clients. So we do have the largest team. We've been certifying this team for a long time. And as we have a lot of different clients with projects, ongoing projects, we are able to give them experience, right? So they know and they've been through this type of projects. So we know the challenges, we have the lessons learned on it. And I think we have the full spectrum of what is needed, right? So if you think about a project to implement decision intelligence, you need people that can think about business. So we can think about the impact, we can think about what are the best use cases, how we design these use cases. So that's one important aspect of it. We need to think about technology, right? So we do have skill builders, skill architects that really go into the platform and configure the platform in the way that was designed. So that's another important aspect. Data scientists, a lot of the skills we need data scientists to work on the analytics models. So that's another important part of it. And then from a people aspect and change management and depending on the skill, the impact is very significant. Typically, we see the adoption going pretty smooth because whenever people see it, everybody wants to use it, right? Because it's pretty simple to use. But the way we communicate that, there's always some concerns about the level of automation. So we need to think about the way we communicate that to drive the adoption and the results that we want to. So I think those are some of the roles that we see that are important in the client. And we, of course, we have the project management or the Scrum Master role, which most of these projects we do in an agile way. That we also have some people with Aera experience specifically that can help on that. So that's kind of the experiences that we have. We've been doing a lot of thought leadership in different webinars with Aera and even inside EY. We have some facilities. We have this MXD and Nottingham Spark, two innovation facilities where it's kind of a labs that we have to try new things and to show and to ideate. So we have Aera there, and we're happy to host any company there to ideate on use cases and impact.
Excellent. No, thanks for sharing that. Definitely a very powerful capability that we're excited to bring to clients. And that takes us to, I think, the end of this conversation. Unless there's any final remarks, Alex, I thank you for your time today and continued partnership and collaboration. And we're available after this chat for any questions that anyone might have. So thanks a lot again.
Of course, thank you for hosting, and I'm really excited about this journey, right? Finally moving to autonomous planning and how we can leverage Aera as a platform to get there, and looking forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.